Chair, this is Relly and Hilo again. Just letting you know, we seem to be ready here on this side. So whenever you're ready to go.
Thank you very much. Aloha kako. Welcome to the fourth session of the County of Hawaii Redistricting Commission. Today is Thursday, September 30th. My name is James Hustis, and I am your Vice Chair. I'd like to start off with an announcement that I will read. Because of the coronavirus, COVID-19 emergency, and state and federal guidance on large meetings and gatherings, and pursuant to the Mayor's proclamations regarding COVID-19, the Redistricting Commission meetings are currently not open to the public to attend in person and until further notice. Members of the public may view or provide oral testimony via the Zoom platform by requesting for this information as noted in our posted agendas. Thank you for your understanding. I will now call this meeting to order. The time is 9:34 in the morning. I'd like to begin with a quick roll call of the commissioners to see who's here with us today. I can do the roll call here if that's okay. Please note if you're online or what chamber you're in. We'll start off with Commissioner Louie.
Present in Hilo.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoshina.
Present in Hilo.
Commissioner Sumera Lee. Commissioner Yadao.
Present.
Commissioner Bath.
Present in Hilo.
Thank you. Commissioner Akamu. Commissioner Lopez. And Commissioner Casal. Okay.
Chair, I apologize. This is really, we were not able to hear, there we go. Commissioner from District 8, if you could just note that you were present.
Yes, Lopez from District 8 on Zoom.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good to see you on Zoom there. Okay, so just a quick attendance there. Thank you, everyone. Going to read a little bit more here. As a reminder, during this meeting, we're working with commissioners in multiple locations. The audio of the meeting is being recorded, so as much as possible, let's try to avoid overtalk as that becomes difficult to later dictate the minutes. Please keep your microphones on mute unless you are speaking, and we ask that for members of the public who are turned in as well. Commissioners in other chambers, your microphone can be activated by pressing the button at the base. Won't be able to recognize you if the audio is not coming through, so be sure to check that it's on before speaking. As I'm the only one here in Kona today. So for those in Hilo who are remote, we'll have to make a go of it. So please speak out with a name that you need to be recognized, and I'll do my best to navigate through this. I have to recognize you. If you request to speak, please state your name for the recording dictation and proceed. If you don't state your name first, we may interrupt you to clarify who is speaking for the minutes. Thank you all. So today we have a very quick agenda. We only really have one item on the agenda, and it should be noted that this session has been publicly announced to be an open training session to really familiarize ourselves with the online redistricting tool provided by ESRI for creating mapping plans. That link is noted on the agenda for today. The session is open to commissioners and interested members of the public, but please note that no actions by the commission will occur during today's session. Today is strictly a training session for the commissioners to help them familiarize themselves with the platform and the application, as well as pose any questions to the elections training staff that they may need help to go through the software there. We may have people online viewing us, and there may be people that chime in via Zoom. We will not be hearing any testimony today regarding any actions, but if members of the public, if you have questions, please identify yourselves to the staff operating the Zoom platform, and we will get to your questions when we can. Today, most of this will be led by our training staff and our staff with the elections office. That'll be Corey and Debbie, and they'll be leading most of this training today. We have a number of our commissioners are in the Hilo chambers, So they'll be there in person to assist you. And for Commissioners Lopez and myself here in Kona, we can be guided online as best as possible and ask questions when we can. Any questions from the commissioners before we begin today? Okay. So I'd like to pass it over to Corey and Debbie with the Elections Division Office to kind of really start this conversation off and really go through step-by-step process of the software, the platform, and really help to answer any questions that the commissioners may have. Mahalo.
Good morning. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the tabs that that you'll probably be using the most. And then after every tab, then we'll ask if anyone has questions. Okay, the first thing we want to do is, if you haven't already done so, if you can open the software. And it looks like what we have on the screen right now. Does everyone have a username and a login? Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask you to sign in by clicking on that green bar. And this will bring you up to where you can choose a template plan. There's two in here. One is where you see where my cursor is right now. So one is a Hawaii County Council blank map, which is starting from scratch. You know, it's an empty map. It doesn't have any of the council districts. It's just a blank map, and you would choose your starting point and then start drawing your map from there. The second one is the current council map. And this one you could work on it. The current council lines are there. And so you would be able to maybe like move things around and, you know, adjust the map to how you folks want it. So you would choose which one you wanted to work off of. So we are going to work, you want to work off of the blank one? Oh, the blank one. We're going to work off of the blank one today.
Yeah.
Oh, you folks are on which, did you want to work on the current one?
Well, I find that a little easier, actually.
Work off of the current one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
You feel that?
Is working off the current one okay with everybody that's not here in this chamber?
That's fine.
District 8 would prefer to work off the current.
What did he say?
I'm okay with Dwayne.
So it looks like the preference is to work off of the current one.
Okay, so we'll just, okay, we'll open up the current one and then we'll demonstrate on that one. Okay, so the first tab we're going to go through is there's a Learn tab on the top. See where my hand is? Everybody's there. Okay, so we'll click on that one. And in this is where you can find a 25-minute tutorial, or there's a click list. And depending on what kind of, like it goes through the, a returning new user, returning user, the template plans, which we just went off, the current or the blank, the file tab, and then all the different tabs. And it's like a cheat sheet on what the various uses of each tab is. Okay, so that was it for that one. So now we want to click on the view tab. And in this tab, you want to click on show right here, show target values. And then also you'd want to click on show district field, which is right there. And show district field. Yes, all the other checkboxes can stay checked. It's just this one is not, these two are not checked. And what it does is on the show target values, when you click that, it's going to show on the bottom of your screen where you have council, unassigned council 1, council 2. Without that being on, it doesn't show your target numbers. And when you click it, it shows the target. And then the show district field button, what that does, it'll show you the population within the council districts. Any questions? Okay, now we're going to go into the create tab. This is where you're going to create your maps and make adjustments. So with your mouse, you can scroll in to make it bigger or make it smaller. You see under the review tab, there's display level county, and then there's a hand. If you click the hand, that's a to pan the map, where you can move it, if you need to see, you can just move the map around. Yes.
So this is Dwayne. I kind of got lost here. So I go to that create block
Yes.
and I click on that,
Mhm.
and then you were saying something about moving the hand.
Yeah, if you look right, the review tab, right under there, there's display level and then county, there's a hand.
Yeah.
So if you click on that, that allows you to move the map around on your screen. So if you wanted to get, like go in further, but the whole, you cannot see a part of the map that you want to see.
Yeah.
You can just, if that hand is clicked, you're able to move the map around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So now you're scrolling to make it bigger and smaller.
Yeah,
But if you want to move the back, this hand,
I just did.
yeah, point your mouse on this. There's your cursor. So click it. Look over here. And drag your mouse around. Click on the mouse.
This is Stephanie. I really like this, what was obvious, but I didn't figure it out, using the mouse to to move, to enlarge and make that, that's huge. Thank you. I kept going up and hitting the plus and minus signs. This is like Christmas. Thank you.
Do you need bigger stuff?
Yeah.
Can I also ask just the unassigned, is that was unassigned in the last mapping? It's all obviously, shoreline. Is that something we should try to
Not
assign
really,
or?
I'm just trying to
The,
figure out how to do.
the
that.
unassigned, if you look at the numbers, it's all zero.
Right.
So that means there's nothing unassigned on this current map.
Oh,
If you're on the blank map, then that would have numbers in it because you need to assign.
so that, the part that's unassigned now, would that be in, or there's nothing unassigned? I see. It's just, I'm sorry, the blues are different on Council 6 and the shoreline are different colors, so.
Yeah,
see.
and that's another thing that we'll go through too is you can change your colors,
Oh,
so that it's not, like there's a lot of pinkish purplish, on this current map.
right.
And so I like to go and change it to colors where I can,
More contrast.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's something that we'll show you
Okay.
how to do. Yeah. Okay, so one thing that you need to, that you'll need to remember is when you're assigning districts, this up here, this district, and right now it says unassigned. Whatever district you're working on, you would need to change that. Click the down arrow and then change it to whatever district you're working on. So like, say we wanted to change, Council District 1. I would click on the 1, and now anything that I do in this map is going to assign to Council District 1. And then I think the bottom, you could also do it by doing the bottom also. Clicking on the bottom down here. So if you clicked on Council District 1, I think it changes Council District 2. So it would automatically change the district on the top.
I'm not sure where you're clicking, sorry.
On the bottom of you see the
Oh, wait, where the numbers are?
yes.
Oh, I got you, okay.
So if you click on that, any particular district, it'll automatically change the top.
Yeah.
Okay, click Council District 1. Just getting a color map.
Huh?
Color map.
Yes. But I can just. Click there.
Oh, you gotta click on here. I think you clicked on the color.
Oh,
So
I
that's where you
see.
would go to change the color.
I got you, so click this. And then if I
And
click,
then it changes to Council
and
1.
then if I click,
Oh,
oh, got you.
gotcha.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you.
Or you want me to do it? Okay. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about if you wanted to change your colors in your map, then what you would do is on this bottom where all the numbers are, if you click on the color, like I'm gonna click on Council District 1 right now, it'll bring up select a color. So say I want to make it a bright green. And then you just, you'll click whatever color you want, click OK, and it changes to the green. Any questions so far? Okay.
I'm just wondering if maybe when we meet, we can decide if all of us should use the same color for each district, just to have some continuity when we have discussions, something to think about. It doesn't have to be anything that has to be. When we submit our plans, if everybody has District 1 is purple, District 2 is green, then we'll kind of be able to identify with the color. And it might be easier for the public to look at as well. There'd be some consistency. So maybe we could think about that. Oh, yeah. Anyway.
All right. Okay, I'm just gonna go over this. Next to the hand, the pan. Under display level block group. Under the review and share tabs, there's display level block group. So the first one I mentioned to you folks was the pan hand, which is how you can move the map around. The second one is zoom in, the plus. Are we all, everybody know where we are? Okay, so the plus, if you click on that plus, you can go onto the map and say you want to zoom into where are we? Like this, the border between Council 9 and Council 1. You would just click and the square comes out and mark, the area that you want to zoom into. Make the square, holding down your left button on the mouse. Make the square. When you let it go, it'll zoom straight into the area that you wanted to zoom into.
Stephanie, so that's sort of a little click feature that the mouse does the same thing on. It does what
Yes.
the mouse does.
Yes.
Okay.
So Stephanie, were you saying that you can either do it with that tool or you can do it with the plus and minus tool? Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
From what they're saying, you can either use your little icons or you can use your mouse.
Well, I don't have a that square's a little hard to draw. And then because that doesn't take you down to the detail that you might want, then you hit the plus again.
You could either hit the plus again or just zoom in, I use my mouse.
Yeah.
If you keep it'll like take you all the way in where you can actually see like street names.
Right. So if you accidentally make a square, how do you get rid of it without it getting huge? Is there any way to get rid of that
No,
if you make a mistake?
previous extent.
Oh, like if I go like this, say, and it's not really what I wanted.
You don't have a scroll bar, so you would have to find your magnifying glass over here. Click the
Oh, the
minus.
minus.
How,
and then click down here.
okay, there's the plus and then there's a minus button right next to it. And then there's an arrow, the back arrow.
Okay.
So if you hover over that arrow, it says previous extent.
Oh, this one. Previous extent.
See what happens.
So that was just before I moved it. Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's good.
It's not getting smaller though. She needs to unzoom.
It's not gonna get smaller. It's just gonna take her back to the next extent. I mean, the previous one she was in. She wants to get smaller.
But this is good. I can just push that too. I think I'm all right.
Okay, so
Chair,
the,
Commissioner, just a heads up that Commissioner Lopez has raised his hand and would like to speak.
Thank you, Riley. Commissioner Lopez, you had a question?
Commissioner Lopez, I apologize, but you're still muted.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Commissioner Lopez. How are
Okay,
you?
thank you. Thank you. I'm realizing one of the limitations of Zoom. I think it's because in the Hilo Council chambers, because you see the person you're talking to, you tend to have a conversational voice. And I have my speaker turned on 100%. And I can hear Stephanie very well, but I'm having trouble hearing commissioners with their questions and comments. So if you would please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
okay, are we ready to move on to the next one? Okay. The next button next to that plus is a minus button. And that does the opposite of what the plus does. So it'll zoom out instead of zoom in. So the same way we did, you get to where you are right now, but now you want to zoom out and you want to see a little bit more of the map. You just make a square again in the area that you're on. And it'll zoom out.
So this is Dwayne, Corey. Can I use that wheel on this thing to do that?
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
The wheel pretty much does what the plus and the minus does.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and then the back arrow, the next button is a back arrow. And that will take you back to the previous extent that you were in. So like, someone had asked if they made a mistake making the square. What you can do is you can press on this arrow and it'll take you back to before you drew the square. So big. Or next extent. That one doesn't seem, that next button.
So Corey, just for clarification, this is Dwayne again. The word extent, what is the definition of that?
That's it says previous extent, so I guess it's
What you're,
extent in
what you're looking at?
what you did right before you made that X. So it's like a back button, like on your computers, when you're.
Right. But the word extent is just telling you the picture you're looking at.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay. I'm not too sure what this next extent button does. Have you ever used that button? Yeah, I've never used it, so I'm not too sure what that one does. But the next one is a zoom. Oh. That's a new one for us.
Well, if you haven't used it, I guess we don't need them either.
Yeah.
Let's just use the mouse.
Okay, so the buttons that we went over that's pretty much what we, we have been, we're familiar with. Okay, now we're gonna get to the actually creating the plans, the buttons that, the tools that you're gonna need to create plans. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in.
Corey, Stephanie,
Yes,
may I request that you teach us how to save as the next step? Or should we wait for that?
you can go through the save. Okay, so if you wanted to save, say you're working on it, you need to step away for a little while, but you don't want to lose what you've done, then you would click on the File tab. And then Save As.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Want to do these tools? Okay, so Debbie's gonna go over the tools that you're gonna need to create your plans.
Okay, hi, this is Debbie. So if we're gonna zoom into our map and let's say that we want to, we're trying to get our population count to the closest of what the target should be, which is the 22,232. So since that council 1 is like less and council 9 has a little more and we're just playing with it. What you would do is you would select council 1 and you're gonna look for where you want to move the boundary line, yeah? So let's just say I am gonna move this section here. So what I would do is I would click on this under the Learn and View tab where it says district. There's the arrow with a dot. I can select that and I can just click on this section and it'll highlight that whole block and move it into Council District 1. So that's one way that you can select as to where you want highlighted or move to a different district. So like over here, if you see where I'm at, there's a little section that I missed. So then I would need to, this is when you would kind of pan back and forth from your hand so you can zoom in or zoom out of your map. And then you would need to make sure you select that, that dot again. And then I would just click on there and it'll highlight it. So that's one way that you can choose your selection, yeah. And then if that is something that you didn't want, well, there's the back arrow and we can just click the back arrow 2 times and it'll take it back to what it was. Another way that you can select is by taking the second, the one next to the dot, which is the rectangle, click on that and we can just draw the area that we want to select, such as what I'm doing, and it'll highlight the area. And then as you notice your, like if you notice the council numbers in 1 and 2 would either go up or increase or decrease, yeah.
So that's like a big area. Don't you want to do a census block at a time? Or-
Yeah, so what I'm doing, I'm just showing you how to use what these little tools are for, yeah.
Uh-huh.
How you would use it.
So I did what you did and it turned all of that into the District 1, but now I'm not sure how I hit the backspace and I'm not sure it went back to the original. Maybe it did. It's hard to tell, but it should go back just by hitting the backspace.
Yeah, if that's
Okay.
something that you didn't want, yeah.
Okay, I'll try that again.
So the difference between the two tools that Debbie just described is the first one will only change the census block that you clicked in, that one block.
Mhm.
The second one, you can change, do multiple blocks at a time.
Yeah, so no, I'm still having trouble. So I used the first tool with the dot and then I used backspace, but it didn't turn it back the other color, the District 9 color. Yeah. Let me check. Yes, I think so. Wait a minute. Oh, do I have to give a double click it? Maybe not. So I highlighted this and it turned into District 1, but now I'd like to go do it back, turn it back again.
You're back.
Oh, this back arrow.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. Sorry, I was using the other back arrow. Okay, thank you.
This back arrow only works with these.
Okay, got it.
And then that back
That back,
arrow,
oh, okay,
yes.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify with you folks who are on Zoom or the public that this two back arrows right here is only used for this section. This arrows is used for the display level. So just make sure that you don't get it mixed up or confused. Okay. Go ahead.
And then, if you zoom in, you see those numbers, like right here in Council District 1, there's this 1,819. Okay, those numbers is the population in that census block. So if you were going to say, change this to Council 9, that's what your number in Council 9 should increase.
So this is Dwayne Corey.
Yes.
How do I know the block designation for that population?
Smaller numbers.
What's that?
Smaller numbers, right?
No, let's say I see this 8, whatever this number.
8, 9,
8, 9. And
5.
right,
in
so,
District 8.
so what is the block designation for that? You know, each population number is by a block, right? So how do I know what block that population is in?
When you click on it.
So excuse me, Corey, this is James and Kona. I think Mr. Yoshina is asking about the individualized block number. So you might have to talk to him about the identification tool.
So like,
So in other
Thank you.
words, let's say I'm between District 1 and 2,
mhm,
and I wanted to add a block from 2 into 1. On the map, I have the population number,
uh-huh.
but I don't know what block that is to move it. If I want, in other words, if I wanted to do this, not on the map first, but by checking the blocks, move this block, on paper. 'Cause I'm a paper guy, right? So I want to go in and say, block, as an example, block number 1, 2, 3, 4 into
Oh,
2.
I don't know where the, how
So
you identify the
think-
block.
I think, so you're talking, this is Stephanie, so you're talking about, you have your little census blocks
Yeah,
and you want to move them to another district?
yeah, but wait.
Yeah.
See, there's two ways of approaching this, right? One is that each census block on the map has a number,
Mhm.
which is not the population, it's the identifier for the block. So, because I'm a old-fashioned guy, I like to get a list of all of those blocks and see how they appear on the map. So maybe, as an example, block 1, 2, and 3 are on the border of between District 1 and District 2. So I want to move 1, 2, and 3 into District 2. By block number, instead of
Oh.
going to this map.
Oh. Is there a place where it has the block numbers? Because I just see the population.
Yeah. See,
So
Yeah.
there's no, you want
Yeah.
some,
maybe I'm confusing all this, but I'm used to seeing block numbers and populations
I see what you're
Ah.
saying.
yeah, but I-
related to those block numbers.
right, I don't see any block numbers.
Yeah, I'm not
just the
sure.
populations.
I don't, yeah. We can find out.
Yeah. I know it exists.
I can chime in on that if you don't mind. So
Sure, go ahead.
if you use the identify a feature tool, so it's in the same area where you display block levels and you go back and forth and zoom in, there's an identify feature tool. So if you're zoomed in far enough there and you click on one of the blocks, it may take a moment, but it gives you the block number there. It says, so you're in a block group there, but if you even like go into a more micro scale, it lists the name. It says, that's the number right there, Mr. Yoshina. That's the block number or block group number.
Which tool are you clicking there, James?
So next to the hand pan, the zoom in, zoom out, and
Uh-huh.
past extent, there's a little circle with a letter I in it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
mhm.
I as an igloo. Yeah, so that you click that and you would click on the block or block group you want to learn about.
Oh.
And it would tell you the block number or the block group number. And then that's what we could record for purposes of saying this block is irregular shaped or it covers multiple neighborhoods. So that tells you the block number right there. And it tells you a little bit more about it. Some of them say, they'll definitely say the county. And sometimes it may say a more of a specific place like Kehoe area or Mountain View. So it could have a little bit more information, but then it tells you all the demographic information that the census gave and calculated from that individual block or block group. So all those numbers there. This is something that I was asking for Mr. Jones, what those things really mean on the side. Like I can kind of understand it, but there should be a better breakdown of what those codes mean. And that's really, if you're curious about learning the demographic breakdown for that block and seeing how many people of Pacific Island ancestry in there, or that sort of thing. So that's what's going to be shown in those numbers there. It basically also all those counts. When we fill out the census, we indicated our backgrounds and how many races we associate with, so that would show in those numbers there.
I have a question, it's Stephanie. So under that tool you just showed us, it says it identifies the block with the name, the county and the place, and that it has field and value. What is the value? What does value stand for? Those numbers?
So the value would be how many people were identified as that particular thing. Maybe it's someone of Asian ancestry and there are 9 people. Maybe there's Asian ancestry, they're under 18. I don't know what those fields mean. I'm just kind of taking a stab at it.
Right, and what does G dash AIAN, there's a plain old AIAN and then there's a G.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what that is?
No, I'd have to go look at this, like the census website to look at their demographic codes, but that was something I asked of Mr. Jones previously.
Right,
That's if you're curious about that, if we're talking about neighborhoods that you want to create diverse neighborhoods, then this is something we could even calculate even further.
uh-huh,
But it basically gives the demographics there.
okay. And
But
I know
that's, yeah, so Mr. Yoshina, that's that block number there at that where it says the name. That's what I've been recording down as irregular block shapes. That's a,
uh-huh.
So this is Jeanette. I'm sort of sitting here by Mr. Yoshina, and I'm not sure how we got that lot view up onto the map first off, but his question is, can he, on this program, have it in lot view or block view like that and drag a couple lots down into another district and then see the result of the population in the stats, wherever that is? So can you just, if there is a way, Mr. Chairman or Corey and Debbie, if you could kind of walk us through that?
thanks, Jeanette. So just to clarify, Mr. Yoshina is inquiring about how so Corey was kind of walking through that a bit about how we move blocks between different districts here.
Right, and then see the resulting change in the population.
Yeah, so the results will be down on the bottom panel there, where it shows there's a target goal, it shows a percentage deviation,
Mhm.
which is, it's calculated based off the percentage from the target. So our target is 22,232 per district. And so it's a percentage away from that. And then it gives you the raw value of how many individuals you are away from that target. And when you make that change, the last column there will show the current population. So when you've made the change, you'll see that change in that you'll see it in the change in the deviation percentage, the deviation, and the district population. So you'll see the change across those 3 columns there. The target one will never change. That's kind of locked in, right? That's what we're trying to hit. And you can see, so the percentages can swing positive, negative. So that means if you're negative, you're below your target value. And it tells you exactly you're below by 1,343 people. If I'm looking at the screen there that's blown up, like Council 1. So you're off by
Okay.
1,300 people.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I
No problem.
apologize. So can I get Mr. Yoshino's computer on this screen so so that we can demonstrate for him and show him exactly how to do that?
Yeah, please take your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Yoshina here. I apologize for this, but I use a different kind of approach than drawing on a map. So.
Thank you, Mr. Yoshina. I know there's no wrong way to do this. We all are different learners and how we want to visualize this, so that's okay.
I've done it before, but I can't do it now, which is to grab the census block. Where do I do that as opposed to a larger area? Yeah, please. Just say I want to grab this one. Do I just use this tool here? Oh, there you
Mr.
go.
Chairman, apologies. The girls are up here at the dais helping the commissioners right
Oh, I
now.
was trying to grab a specific census block. So so this is a census block right here.
Mhm.
So I just click it with this tool here.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I can get rid of it like that. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Answered my own.
So, Mr. Chair, thank you.
No problem, Mr. Rashwina. How can we help you with this here?
Okay, so everybody knows how to use what you've all seen so far. So there's another one here, which is a polygon. I personally haven't used it if I want to select certain areas. I mostly just use this one or the rectangle. But it's up to you if you want to use it. It'll kind of pretty much do the same thing if you just want to select like a certain area to where you're just gonna click, and then double click, and then it'll select it. So again, if I want to go here, move it down here, and I just double click it, and it's supposed to, oh, you know, I'm in the same color. That's why it's not showing. Let's go to District 2, click here, here, and there, and I double click. And it'll pull that into District 2.
So how did you get it to stop? Because when I tried to use that tool and it would just kept drawing the line
Yeah,
all
so
over the
like
place.
so like what I did is like this is my first point, so I'm gonna click one time,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna drag it here, click. Then I drag it down here, click.
Oh, click,
And then if I want to go here, I double click.
double click. Got
Yeah.
it. All right.
Then they also have this polyline, which is basically just drawing a line and double clicking. So I guess it's just your preference on which one you want to use. And then of course we have the back arrow and the undo arrow and the to redo, yeah. That. Lock and unlock. I don't know if you guys want to lock your map or not, because you can also save it, but they do have a lock and unlock feature.
What does lock and unlock mean?
Like if you want to just lock your, I don't know, I don't even use it. It just says lock a geography, so maybe like just lock your map, like the area.
Does locking mean that we're not going to be able to mess it up and stop it from being what we want? Is it kind of a save, a lock?
Yeah, I think it's kind of probably more like a save, but we can double check it.
Because one of the things that I'd like to do is I'd like to be able to create and then save what I've done and then play around with it some more. And then either back arrow if it doesn't work or save that. Because what's been happening is I'll create something and it looks good. and then I'll do something else, and all of a sudden, the other thing that I created, it didn't disappear, but yeah, I'd like to lock options, or I'd like to save options.
As opposed to.
Yeah. The other thing is I tried just now to use this a little while ago, to use this playing around with saving, and it just kept like, it got stuck. It just kept loading and loading and had to start all over. So I want to avoid that. If we just save and not save as,
So the
save as,
Commissioner Bath, a couple of questions, reply to a couple of your questions there. I'll start with the lock feature. We'll go back to that one if you don't mind.
thank you.
It really prevents, so if you feel that one of the districts is in a good situation, you feel like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is really close to what I want, it might be a good idea to lock that district. So on that bottom pane of the window there, there's an option to lock those districts. And basically, if you're dealing with a district that abuts that boundary line, it would prevent you from taking any blocks or block groups from that district. So right now, on the screen, Council District 2 was locked, so you couldn't add or take any away from it, from the districts next to it. Like if you mistakenly clicked it, or you feel like that's a really good place that you don't want to change that boundary at all, then you could, that's an option to incorporate a lock on that. It really just locks in that district.
Thank you. That's excellent. That's actually what I wanted to do, rather than save while I'm
Yeah.
still in process,
Yeah.
to be able to, that's a real helpful thing. And we can unlock it anytime we.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's great.
Now your question about the save as, unfortunately, you do have to save as from the very beginning, because the two files that we're kind of, we're dealing with Hawaii County, the two files that we're really dealing with are just templates. And so you have to save as from the very beginning. Like if you're modifying the template, it's not really modifying the one that we all deal with, it's just modifying a template on your end. And then you would have to save it as your own file. So you have to kind of do that initially, and then you can subsequently, you can just save it once you've named it and created your own plan. And then if you want to create different iterations, that's where you would use save as. You're just creating new files.
Oh, okay, so it's just like regular computer, the kind
Yeah.
of save as. Okay, thanks.
Well, while we're talking about save, so I saved a map, under my name, but now when I'm trying to open it and I do the open thing, it brings up congressional ones in Honolulu. It doesn't, wait a minute. It does, wait a minute. It brings up the current council, but I don't see the one I saved. Oh, wait a minute.
It could be under the different folders there.
Oh,
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
like
It's
the
under my
my,
plans.
yeah, my
I
plans.
got it. I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions on the Create tab?
Well, I guess my question is about the base map. So once you've moved things in terms of population, you might want to also look at the geographical features and so on. So once you've done that kind of step one and you feel pretty good, then should you use the different base maps to kind of make sure you're not, I don't know, crossing geological lines, or just to get a better look at, the streets and so on. It's more detailed.
I guess that would be up to you. Yeah, you could go in, if you wanted to see the streets, maybe click on the streets.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing.
So that's just all the different overlays that they have in the software.
Mhm. I wonder, if I could ask you, James, what do you do after you've done the, demographic shifting? Do you look at the street map and so on?
Yeah, so I think the base, like the initial base map we see is just a street name map. Sometimes you can see on there, you see rivers and streams that have names too.
Mhm.
And if you click on the different base maps, you can see, it's, this is just a very simple map right there. So you can see with the imagery, you can see where things are with the different base maps. There is another place, and I'm trying to get to it, where you can see the ahupua'as as well. That's a layer you can turn on. I have to look at that 1 second.
And I think Pat sent us some information about that, but I don't have it here.
So there are a couple layers that I could direct you towards if you're looking at a particular map. So what's up on the screen, there are different base maps, and that really just chooses the backgrounds that you're building your districts on top of. So there's imagery with labels. So these will, maybe they help you as a visual, they kind of give you ideas of where things are. The streets creates a nice, that's a really good starting point because it creates nice geographic boundaries. We typically use streets for boundaries. Topographic is another one. They get a little bit, we don't have to use all these, it's just what you want and what you're comfortable with. The other one I want to show you that was loaded in here that Mr. Jones and Mr. Rosenbrock loaded in here. So if you close the base map window, and if you go to the left-hand side of the screen where just below that, there's a little arrow that pops out just to the side of the zoom in, zoom out large buttons. So if you click on that there, let's see if it shows up. Okay, so you might have to go to the view option, or it should show in create as well. So the thing is, oh, can you click? Yeah, you're in the right place, but if you could click on contents in that below the identify. So if you go down just a little bit, there's a legend. Yeah, if you click on contents. So this is where you can turn on different layers, as they're called. And so if you could, you can see where the ahupua'as are all drawn. And there are a couple others that are new to me here I haven't seen. So there's an option to turn on the elementary school areas. And then this was a request by one of the other commissioners, I believe, to see, well, this one, yeah, where the council lines are basically. So you can turn on those other layers. They're turned off right now.
I don't see where you're turning those on. I don't, the plus
Yeah.
and minus. Oh, there's a little tiny thing at,
so those boxes aren't checked yet. So if you want to test out one of those, and for example, you want to turn on the ahupua'as, you can see where all those lines run through the districts.
oh, there.
So one just a little bit over to the left, a little box.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
got you.
then you should see
Oh.
these blue lines populate over the whole island.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And those are all, if this is interests you at all, this is, you know, we may have people from the public that are very curious about this and want to put ahupua'as and see those boundaries in certain areas. So something to consider there.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you, Debbie.
Stephanie, so how do you shut off or how do you remove a base map from your map when you're done with it?
So under the create option, you should see the base maps there on the right-hand side, up on the upper side, and then you select the base map you want to work with, and it will change accordingly. And then, so you can toggle between the different ones.
And so when we're done with a particular base map and we want to remove it, I clicked on it and it wasn't leaving. How do we get out of an overlay like the,
You just have to switch between them there.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that.
Well, because there's no neutral one. She wants to go back to the
I
original.
want to take it off the map that I'm creating. Like I have the topo map on right now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking
So-
at the lay and I want to get rid of that.
So the one that it starts up, that it boots up the program as, is the streets one.
Oh,
That's
got
the
it.
default one.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yep.
okay, that's good.
So I have another question, and I'd like to go back. When we were talking about that lock feature, I played with it, and what I locked turned gray, and then the numbers went way high, and I think it was a human error, but it locked things I didn't want to lock, but I take responsibility for that. So what is the reason when I locked an area that the numbers went way up? Did I just not do it right? The population, the whole thing that I locked turned gray.
Huh.
You know what? Let me do it again and see if it was a human error.
Yeah.
I think you might have selected, like
Too much?
yeah.
Okay. But is it supposed to turn gray when you lock it?
When you lock it, you should see these striations through the district.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll play with it. Thank you.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened. My council district is now in Ka'u and council one is in Ka'u. So I just made a human error. I don't think a computer would be this sloppy. Yeah, see, it just really, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a human error. I'll redo it.
Hmm. That's very cool.
Also, I wanted to clarify that because it happens to me all the time. I forget to change the council district, that I'm working on.
Mm.
And then I see like in that situation, oh, how come council district is in council 5 now? And so, yeah, it happens to me too. So just a friendly reminder to watch the council district that you're working on. Anybody else has any more questions?
Are you going to go to review then?
Yeah, we're gonna move to the next tab if everybody is okay. Okay, in the review tab, when we went to training, we were told to this check integrity button. So once you've drawn your plans out, you've created your map, then it's like a, what do you call that? Like, if you click it, it'll tell you check marks is you're good. X's would mean you have to check.
Start over.
No, just check on it because it's like how it tells you. Just like how if you're on it where it shows you where there's a red X, like one of them, you'd have to check on the maximum deviation check.
Mm,
So if you click on details,
mm,
the other one,
yeah.
then it's gonna tell you what actual council district that you need to check on, yeah,
Mm.
because the deviation is way too
Mm.
high.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you would know you need to go back to council District 5 and maybe put some in another district. So that's kind of basically what the integrity check is about. Just in case you might have missed, it'll let you know. So that's probably actually something good to use.
That's very good.
Okay, we're gonna, any other questions on the review? Okay, we're gonna go to the share tab now. What I wanted all of you to check is, you see on this redistricting online, the orange bar, there's an invites. Is there a number 1 in there?
Yes.
Okay, so you want to click on that, click on invites. And there should be County of Hawaii.
Mhm.
So you click on one, just click once on County of Hawaii. And then I think at the bottom, it should say accept. And you click on accept. I think Mr. Jones sent all of the commissioners an invite into this County of Hawaii group. And this is where the plans are going to be submitted, from the public and the commissioners.
Let's go over that again. This is Dwayne.
On your top, on the top, you see an orange bar. Yes, it goes right across. And then in there, there's an invites. It says invites. And do you have a number 1 in there? Okay, so what you want to do is you want to click on the word invites. And then under group name, there should be County of Hawaii. Okay, so click on the County of Hawaii 1 time. And then on the bottom there, on the bottom of that block should say the word accept.
It just says group name now. It doesn't have County of Hawaii. How do I go back?
You probably accepted it already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
if the group name doesn't appear, then you've
Oh,
accepted it
I
already.
see. Okay.
It's Stephanie. So now it has a box and it says group invitations and everything looks like it's blank.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So when I close it, should invites show something different now? A different number?
0.
It should show 0. Okay,
Yes.
that's what it is. Yeah. And so what does that do?
That's where, when plans get submitted, it, Esri, so Mr. Jones, Royce, as plans get submitted, he is going to put it into that group. And that's where you, the commissioners, can open up the plans and look over it.
Okay, so Stephanie, so we just got one plan that was submitted by the public yesterday, Brenda's plan.
Uh-huh.
Will that be submitted?
Yeah.
That, it hasn't been put in yet, but that will show up.
Right now,
So you should see that when, as a commissioner, you should see the public plans when you open. So if you want to open a new plan, so up on the top left on the orange bar.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm still in group invitations. Do I just?
No
click on
problem.
this? How do you get out of that? Close, I guess,
yep,
huh?
just close.
Close.
Yeah, you can just close it
And then where do we go to look at plans?
in your
So
open.
you go to open. Sorry, I'll leave you, Corey, you can do it there with them.
Okay, in that orange bar, you see the open folder. It's the second.
I only have county council current read-only invites District 5 and sign out on my orange bar,
Okay, no, the left-hand side, far left.
far left.
Yes, in that bar.
Okay, so there are little icons that I'm supposed to click.
Yes.
Which one?
Open a plan. It's
Oh,
the second one.
Create-
Open a
Oh,
plan.
okay, so I gotta toggle over, open a plan, got it. Okay, got it. I see it. Very good. Thank you.
Wait a second. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, good.
So when you open the plan, if you double click on shared plans, and then double click on County of Hawaii,
Mm.
then it'll bring up the 3 plans that have been submitted so far.
Oh my gosh, you did 3. Ooh.
And so if you wanted to go and view the plans, you would click whichever plan you wanted to open, view, and then just on the bottom, click open plan. And then you would go in and view the plans. That's how you would be able to view the plans.
I'm not sure if this is an appropriate question for now, but did she intend to submit all 3, or does she want us to commit to look at the last one? Don't know.
There are
yet.
different variations.
Mm.
How do we get out of this when we open a plan?
You can just,
Just click back or
Cancel?
where
Oh,
is that?
there's a little X up in the right-hand corner.
Yeah, I can't.
so I just clicked on cancel,
And where is that?
the bottom.
Hello, my chair. This is Relly and Hilo. Miss Ford seems like she has a question. Miss Ford, just to remind you that there is an option at the bottom of your Zoom screen to click on the item that, or the icon that says raise hand, so that you don't have to physically raise your hand in the video, and that way the commissioners can see that.
Thank you, but I'm not sure where that icon is. But I have a comment. I don't
Ms.
want to
Ford,
confuse the commissioners.
Ms. Ford, this will only pertain to the software, is that correct?
Well, you're looking at the plans that I have submitted, and I recommend that you only look at 20 to answer the question of one of your commissioners. The other 2 are too early and still had mistakes in them.
Thank you, Ms. Ford.
Thanks, Sam. So, maybe this is a question for Dennis, but will we be notified? I imagine we are, when new plans are submitted, just so that we know when we might want to go look at that.
They'll be part of a communication that's given to the commissioners, and that'll be the indication that the plan is available.
Okay.
Commissioners, how are we doing? Do you need to take a little restroom break here at this point?
Dwayne, 10-4. I would like a restroom break.
So let's take a short recess here. Think about maybe other questions that might come up, and we can address them to Corey and Debbie when we come back. We'll take about a 5 to 10 minute recess here. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a thought. Yeah. You know, and people don't need to come in. Yeah. It's my security. I know. I feel like I messed with it, and it took a long time to try to. And this is helpful. That was good. Yeah, that's a nice one. Nice tool. Absolutely. So, Dennis,
How are we doing in Hilo? I'll call us back from recess if that's okay.
All right, Chair. This is Relly and Hilo. We're just waiting on Corey to come back and we'll be ready to go.
Wonderful. Thank you, Riley.
Hi, Chair. This is Relly again in Hilo. Just letting you know that everyone is back in the room and ready whenever you are, sir.
Thank you, Riley. We'll come back from recess then. And I'm not sure, Corey, Debbie, did you have anything else you wanted to touch on with the commissioners? Otherwise, I would encourage this time, the commissioners, if you have other further questions that you may have come up with, that we address them to the staff that's here to support us today.
Yes, we just wanted to go over the last tab, which is the submit tab. How to submit your plan.
Wonderful. Thank you, Corey.
And then after that, yeah, our portion is done and we're open for questions.
One thing that I was thinking might be good is those of us who want to stay, if we could maybe have a half hour to just play, because that's when I'm in the lab, that's when my questions come up generally. So with that, if we have time, could we do like a 15 or 20 minute or a half hour? And those that don't need to can leave. Would that be okay?
I'd lean on the staff on this one in terms of sunshine, but you may work, maybe Bill work independently with the staff,
Yeah.
but not as a group.
Okay, well, if it's just technical questions, not, oh, I see. Okay, that's okay.
So Corey, why don't you take it away and then we can open up to other tech questions that come up.
Okay, so the last tab we wanted to go through is the submit tab. And this one is very straightforward. Once you've created your plan and you're ready to submit it, then you're just going to click the submit plan button.
And so what happens with the submit tab for the commissioners is it runs the integrity checks as Corey talked about previously. So we can check integrity ahead of time before submitting to see how we're doing and going through the process. But when you go through the submit, it will also run those integrity checks as well about contiguousness, any outliers, all those sort of things, any unassigned boundaries. So it's going to check all those things one last time. And if anything, those things flag, then it won't be able to submit it, from my understanding.
You won't be able to submit it, did you say?
If any of those errors come up, so if we've deviated beyond that 10%, or if any of the boundaries are not contiguous, so if there's like things within, so if something's being consumed by another district that we just missed, that will flag as well. And then any things that are considered unassigned. So you were asking earlier about the ocean boundaries. Unfortunately, we have to assign those to different districts. So you don't want to unassign them. You just do the best you can of where you think they should be. They don't really matter too much, so.
Yeah.
But it'll do all those checks. So that, like Corey just did the integrity check there, and so it flagged a couple of things. So it flagged the deviation, a max deviation, and then a range. And then you can click on the details and see what it's like, all the details it's talking about, like where are we having issues. So that's where you want to go back in. After you've checked the integrity, you want to go back and make those changes. And once you've hit all those marks and it passes the integrity test, then you're probably ready to submit it. And it will run those integrity checks one more time, just to be sure as you submit it.
So I'm still not sure how to submit a plan. Is there some way to upload your plan? I don't. So once you click the submit plan,
Then it will be sent to the tech staff, like Mr. Jones and Mr. Rosenbrock, and they'll get a handle of it. And then
but
it's
I-
kind
I
of,
don't see where you upload your own plan. I mean,
so the one you're currently working on is the one that it's flagging to submit.
oh, okay. So open your own plan and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one you've been working on, the one or the many that you've been working on, and they've passed all the integrity tests,
Mhm.
and you feel like this one is ready to go, that's where you would, and you load that one up again, and then you would hit submit.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, that would be it for our portion. Does anybody have questions that Debbie and I can answer? We're free to answer any questions.
I guess I just have one question, which is on the, what did you call it? Well, kind of like on the demographic data that you get when you look at a certain area. Is there a code for that? I didn't notice any Native Hawaiian category there, and to me that is extremely important. And I was actually going to suggest that we take a look at that in particular to make sure there's good representation.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which one it's flagged as, which the key code.
Yeah, if there's some way for us to get the key code and see if we can find that, that would be great. And was that under the create tab?
Yeah, so under create, and then you use identify tool.
Identify tool.
So some of this key codes might be available on the census website, but
I remember now. Yeah.
we can request some more information from Mr. Jones to see if it identifies a little bit better.
Right.
Mr. Lopez, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
It's not a question. It's a pit I fell into. It reminded me of that contiguous check. What happened to me, and I had a heck of a time trying to find it, when I moved a census block to another district, I would get these contiguous errors. And what I found is within the census block that I moved, there are very tiny contiguous census blocks that didn't get moved.
Mm.
And I found that I got that contiguous boundary check. So if that happens to you and you don't see it, or you didn't intend, you don't know how you did it, what you have to do is you have to zoom in on the district that you sourced from, and then look for a different color within that district, because you'll find some real small census blocks that didn't move, and then you get this contiguous check, or I guess continuity check, and It'll give you a lot of headaches. Just thought I'd point that out. If you get that, then you got to zoom into the source district and try to find a little tiny speck of a color that didn't get moved.
I think that's
Just-
where your square tool is helpful because it kind of gets that whole area, including the little ones, and it turns it all into the other district.
If you choose to use that, that's right, but that not necessarily, you may not want to move it all. It's up to you. I'm just pointing out a pitfall that I've ran into.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
I can agree. I agree with Mr. Lopez. Sometimes it's so small that even the square,
Oh, really?
yeah, will not catch it. And
Hmm.
unless you know that
It's
there's
there.
like a tiny census block there, if that square doesn't go over it, it's not gonna catch it.
Hmm.
And I've run into that several times.
Hmm.
And like he said, you have to go and you have to scroll in, zoom in order for you to see
Oh,
it.
okay, interesting. Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Any other questions for the commissioners, for our staff here today?
You know, I'm still having trouble with that. Oh gosh, it's under create, and it is in the first bunch of ones. Oh no, it's in the display level, that I tool. So when it pops up for me, it doesn't have a place, or do I have to choose the place? Then a whole bunch of things pop up from Oahu and everywhere else.
Yes, you'd have to select the specific block you want to look at,
Oh, okay.
or the block group. So on the smaller scale, we're dealing with blocks, and then it moves up to block groups, which is a culmination of different blocks. And then the tract is a bigger one.
Mm.
So you would select you can zoom in at different levels and either select a block group or a block, and it would tell you identifying features of that block.
Okay,
But you have to select specifically the thing you want to look at.
I see. Okay, thanks.
Okay, I just played around and I figured out that lock issue that I messed up. It was definitely human error. So you don't have to put a square on it. You just click on those census blocks individually in lock, and it'll put the lines through. It's real easy. Thank you.
So my only remaining, I guess, request is if we could get the code for those demographic data, so we have a better idea what those are telling us. That would help.
Thanks, Ms. Louie. I'll work with Chair Casal and then the election staff to see if we can have that incorporated somehow.
Thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any other specific questions for the staff here? Any of our viewers online have questions about the software? Riley, are you seeing anyone that have questions online? So why don't we take, the next 5 to 10 minutes here, tinkering with a couple things. If there are questions that pop up for the commissioners.
Colin, this is Riley.
Yes, Riley, please.
You have no hands being raised from your participants in the Zoom room.
Thank you. So why don't we take about 10 minutes here to tinker with get real familiarize yourselves with the buttons, the application. And while you're in the space here, you can pose any other questions here. So let's take about 5 to 10 minutes here.
Please.
Change the color of this curtain.
Yeah, yeah, that is good. Yeah.
It's Stephanie. I have one question. So if we've saved a plan and we want to go find that plan, how do we find a personal plan that we've saved?
Okay, you're gonna open file.
Where, oh, open file, okay. Yeah,
And then go into my plans. If you double click on my plans,
I'm trying to find my plans.
on the right-hand side, there's recent, right, not right, left-hand side. Recent plans, my plans, and shared plans.
Where, oh,
So she just
okay, so
open.
go to open. I don't know why I'm up on it.
So open plan, my
On my
plans.
plan. Yeah, it didn't, for some reason it might not have saved it. So
District 5 is that you?
Mhm.
She's having trouble with her save.
But I think maybe I'm not knowing how to save.
Save as.
Yeah.
I had put the overlay, the
So I have
overlay.
For saving,
do I
click
get
on the
rid of
save,
that?
click
So I think
file and then
we're
save
going to
as.
be-
So that's what I just
Do you
did,
remember where that
just
menu
with that,
was?
just a.
So is this the
Uh,
name that you named it?
Let's see, it
I
was in the
didn't name it. That
the
might be why.
layers, no, base. Base maps. No, once we, if we, when we went to
Now
the
you're
base.
Oh,
Yeah,
maps,
that's,
we got
that's it,
over
that's it.
to
Okay,
here, but it
so
was
let's
under-
back, so let's go back and let me
maybe
make
go
sure I
back to
did that,
create,
right?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
The base maps,
Okay, let's get over it.
or maybe just.
Oh, you're still in pan, okay. So it's these guys.
But it was a special one that they added,
So it wasn't in this one?
no, I think it has to go here.
Okay, so this is. This is just- Just turn off the power.
So that's a question. How do, like at the next, if the next meeting, Stephanie, at the next meeting, if we have like impressions or things we want to run by the group, can we discuss things openly when we're at the meetings?
Thanks, Ms. Bath. If you have questions about some of the plans that have come in or plans that you've created,
Mhm.
yeah, we need to, so you'll need to submit a request to the chair to put it on the agenda.
Okay,
And so we can get on the agenda to talk specifically about things that you've come across or the plans themselves. So we need to agendize those items.
thank you.
Given that our meeting is next week, is that right? It's already, we have to get things in by tomorrow because that's 6 days, right? Or
Our
by-
next meeting is scheduled for October 14th, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh, 14th. Oh, okay. I was a week early. All right. Thank
which
you.
is the deadline for public plans.
Right. Sorry. So 6 days before that would be like October 8th. So I've got another week. Thank you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to mention one more thing, if in case you make several plans or create several different plans and you decide, I really don't want to keep this one, then there is, if you go into file, open, then there's a red X. If you you highlight the plan that you would be in my plans here, your plans. And then I could highlight this and then click the X and it would delete my plan. So, if you have numerous or, and you decide, oh, maybe I didn't want to keep, I don't want that plan. I'll just keep this other ones. That's a way to delete it
Okay, wait a minute, the little X at the
at the top.
at the top.
Yes. But you would need to select the plan and then click the X.
So just by clicking on your, oh, I see, just click on it and then the X.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And if it's Stephanie, if we submit a plan and actually submit it, and then we do another one that would like to replace the submitted plan do all of our plans remain? Like in Brenda's case, she has 3. So once they're submitted, they're in there and they cannot be taken out or removed.
I would think so, but that's a question we would need to ask Oahu,
Okay.
because Royce is the one that puts it into our shared group. Yeah. The shared group.
Mhm.
And so I'm not sure about, I know your plans in my plans.
Mhm.
I know that one you can delete your plans. I would think once it's submitted.
It's submitted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And it would take testimony or your numbering of them. There's even a way to put in the description that this one may supersede the previous ones, or so you could write notes in the description as you submit. And then it would just take either that or yourselves mentioning that I prefer my number 3 over my number 5, or right, or the testimony from those that submitted. But those are, yeah, they're all shared, so we're all going to see those. The commissioners will see those that are sent from the public. And there may be other ideas that you see from those other plans that may help too. So it's worth considering. This is, I'm going to call for any questions, any other questions that commissioners might have for our staff today. Any last questions? Okay, well, I just want to encourage you, if you do have any hiccups with the tech, then please do reach out to Corey or Debbie with the elections office if you need some other guidance on things. I hope this was fruitful and beneficial for you to walk through some of these steps and have some of your questions answered. Anything else the commissioners want to add on this for today?
Just want to thank Elections for doing this for us. And that was really, really great, helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Louie. And just as an announcement here and reminder, our next meeting is scheduled for October 14th. And then for the public, this is also the deadline for plans to be submitted. So please, I hope this opportunity helped you. There are some YouTube videos that were shared on our past meetings that can help you with some of the steps as well, in guiding you through submitting maps and making your maps for the commission here. So we appreciate you taking the time to do that and assist us in guiding us during this time. Any other announcements from the commissioners? I'd also like to thank the staff today. We had Corey Psyche, Debbie Kahanui, Jeanette Aiello, and Riley Araceli joining us today to assist with the tech side of things and walking the commissioners through some of these steps and helping answer the questions. So we appreciate your kokua and helping us through this process and making it easier for us. I want to thank the commissioners for joining today, those online and those in Hilo. Thank you for being here in attendance and look forward to seeing you at our next meeting. I welcome a motion to close today's meeting.
Move to close.
Thank you, Mr. Yoshina. Do I have a second?
Stephanie, second.
Any objections? Hearing none, today's meeting is closed at 11:34 a.m. Mahalo.
Thank you.